Hello, everybody. I'm Peter the Booklover, and this is Book Talk. This is where I talk about the books that I've recently read, and I'm going to talk about the book Naked Lunch by William S. Burroughs. Let's talk about it. Hello, I'm Peter the Booklover. I like to read a lot of books, and I like to talk about books, so I decided to make a booktube channel. I also talk about movies, but in this episode, I'm going to talk about the book Naked Lunch. But before I get into the book, I want to thank everybody for being here. You're really cool for giving me your time. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're returning, welcome back. I really love your time. Okay, let's get into Naked Lunch. Now, I just finished this today, and I'm going to talk about it. Now, the first thing I got to say about this book is that I read this with an audiobook. And the audiobook starts out with Naked Lunch, the story of Naked Lunch. And it's not really of a story, but the book, Naked Lunch, the, book by itself. And to tell you the truth, reading this book, it was not my favorite book. It's got a lot of weird stuff to it, The thing about it is they tried to ban this book, and I could see why. This is very pornographic, and another thing that what I could criticize about the story of Naked Lunch is it's not really a story. It's just a bunch of thoughts put together, one after the other, and sometimes it gets very weird and pornographic, and it's not recommended for children. And the whole thing, going through the whole thing, I was not really having a good time with it. It was a little bit over the top and kind of funny to me, but I made it through the whole thing. And I was really going to say that I really didn't enjoy this book, and I wouldn't recommend it. But what comes after the book is an appendix. And the appendix is what is really interesting. It really goes into about drugs and what drugs that you could get hooked on. And there's a whole bunch of drugs that he discusses. And the thing about it is the appendix was really interesting. I really enjoyed reading the appendix, man. I'm a little familiar with, I've known some people that would take these kind of drugs. And, it's a very good description about addiction and, people curing themselves for addiction. It's a pretty interesting thing. And then it's funny, the audiobook that I'm going to put it in the description, so if you want to check it out, you could just look in the description, and then I'll have a link for it there. But it starts off with Naked Lunch, then it goes to the appendix, and then it gives you the prologue to this book, like the beginning of the book. And that's another thing that's very interesting. The introduction, not a prologue, the introduction. And the introduction is pretty cool. It's the same type of thing. And the thing about it is the appendix and the introduction are very coherent. It seems like a totally different author writing this, because this is him when he's cleaned up. And when he wrote Naked Lunch, he was high, so he was on heroin when he wrote this book. Is why it's so unique and so weird. And there's also a movie called Naked Lunch that I don't think is very much like the book Naked Lunch. I think it's quite different. I haven't seen the movie, but it's a Cronenberg picture, and I'm a big fan of Cronenberg, so I really like his stuff. And like I say, the introduction to this was pretty interesting, and the appendix was interesting as well, and that made it where this book is worth your time. I could say that I kind of enjoyed this book. If it didn't have those two parts to it, I probably wouldn't have enjoyed this book as much. And there's a part that I haven't read, but it's Naked Lunch on Trial, and I'm planning on reading that later, because apparently they tried to ban this book because it is offensive. I'm going to tell you, man, this is an offensive book. I made it through, and like I say, I wasn't really too offended, but I could see other people reading it that would be highly offended. There's a lot of gay stuff in there, and I'm not gay myself, but I I'm not homophobic at the same time. I don't like reading about, like, there's this one part where there's a woman and a guy that get together, and she wants to lick his butt. And then all of a sudden this guy comes in and he has sex with him, and it's like this gay sex thing. And it's very weird, man. And, you know, I'm glad that it wasn't visual. You know what I mean? It's kind of funny. But yeah, I made it through it. This is a book that's been highly recommended. I will keep this book, and I'm not offended. This is a classic, but this is not going to be a book that I would put on my top 100 favorite books. But at the same time, the parts that are in this that are interesting are pretty interesting and pretty fascinating to read. Not completely fascinating, because you know, I'm a clean person. I don't do any drugs. I don't even smoke marijuana anymore. I used to smoke marijuana a lot, and I'm completely sober. I barely even drink. You know, I'll have a couple of drinks here and there, but I'm not really into drugs. So this isn't really my thing. Maybe somebody that likes taking drugs might enjoy this book a little bit more, but at the same time, me being a straight person, I kind of enjoyed this. So it, you know, I gotta laugh at some of the parts because it's really over the top. But other than that, that's about it. That's Naked Lunch. I finally got to it. I was really excited about reading this book too. This book, I was really excited to get it, and I thought this was going to be something different. I kind of expected a comedy, and it was a comedy, but a very dark comedy, and not a coherent story. This is definitely not a story that goes from point A to point B. It really goes jumping all around the place. But there you go. That is Naked Lunch. This is the first book that I finished this year. This is the first book of 2025. So that's it. If you like this video, please do me a favor. Hit the like button. Before you read Naked Lunch, I highly recommend that you check out a couple of reviews of it, and maybe other people will give a better description of what this book is about. But I don't highly recommend this. But at the same time, I kind of enjoyed reading it. Okay, so that's it. And if you like the video, please hit the like button. And if you want to, please leave me a comment and let me know what you think. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Your subscription means a lot to me. I try to improve my content all the time, so please come back and check out more of my videos by subscribing. So that's it. I'm Peter the Book Lover. I want to thank you for coming by, and I hope to see you in the next video.